This week on Strictly Business, we have two young businessmen who decided to find their own niche in a competitive business dominated by imported brands, but with their own Filipino flavor.
This is Manila Creamery, a Johnny-come-lately in the gelato business, but one that is making its unmistakable mark. Ice cream is a favorite all over the globe, even in countries that have severe winters. One can imagine that in the tropics, it would be an all-season treat, like in the Philippines. Two young men just out of college teamed up to make gelato their serious business. Let's meet one of them, Jason Go.
I finished marketing in Lasal, and then part-time I was a club DJ for mga 5 years. So, the creativity, matagal na akong mahilig sa paggagawa ng mga creative stuff. So, from mixes to ice cream, gelato, it's been my hobby. After college, I DJ'd some more. And then I started to feel na I couldn't keep up with the nightlife. I was getting more tired, and then me and Paolo decided to maybe start something, ideas lang. So di agad gelato. We had some other stuff like Filipino burrito, longa burger, kung ano-ano, marami.
Jason teamed up with another Lasalite, Paulo Reyes, who comes from a family of doctors but who wanted to be different. He graduated with an economics degree, worked for an insurance company for about 15 months before the entrepreneurial bug hit him.
I was really into food naman talaga. So I love eating, so I like to cook. But prior to Manila Creamery, I was baking cupcakes also. Yeah. It really struck me, to change the course of my business to ice cream. Like, I think Jason should have told you that ice cream business here in the Philippines is not a sunset business. So it's gonna be here forever, not only given the weather, because of the palate of the Filipinos also. But up until now, I'm still doing I didn't leave my business behind, the other one. So I just switched to selling brownie brittle, which is called Snack Box. And then, so this is an addition. So after everything I couldn't handle all, I decided to quit my job, just take the risk.
Jason and Paolo, both 25, are young enough to take a big leap of faith, which they did when they thought of Manila Creamery.
It's been a really big risk, not only for, the sustainability. So it's always, the hard part of doing a business is not just, starting, setting up all the equipment, setting up all the business aspects of it. It's more of like sustaining the business. So that's what we're worried about, even up until now. Apprehensions would include, if you look at other countries, Western countries, they're more globally developed when it comes to food. So if you talk about food globalization, they're way ahead than the Philippines, okay? And people there are able to understand that good food, good quality food doesn't come cheap. So that was one of our apprehensions. We really wanted to sell a product that is really top quality, world-class quality, and let people see that a Filipino product could be, could be competitive versus others.
One might ask, what would a DJ and an insurance man have to do with gelato making? How did they learn the ropes?
So first I took a course here, parang crash course, few hours, and then afterwards I realized I didn't learn that much, and I felt like I needed to go somewhere or like read other books. I couldn't find the knowledge that I wanted here in Manila, and so we googled stuff and we were like, as a joke, hey, what about this Italian university for gelato, as a joke. And then one joke led to another. Next thing you know, we were applying for a visa to study there. And then next thing you know, we were there. I was there in Bologna, he was in Venice. And then we studied 1 month each. Then afterwards, because we thought that why do we need two heads to study one process when he can study another chef's technique, I can study another chef's technique, and then we can just sort of combine our knowledge, because it would cost the same. So might as well change it, and then see what you get in this region, see what you study in this region, and then make something Manila.
The bazaar that Jason spoke of is in Glorieta, and both Jason and Paolo manned this booth for about a year, 12 hours a day, every day. Jason still remembers the basic flavors that they began with: vanilla almond, pistachio, Kinder Bueno, cereal milk, and a few others. They started with 8 flavors, and now they have concocted and perfected about 20 flavors.
So it was hard. It's 12 hours. We had to put the machine in. The machine was 400 pounds. So we had to carry that out of the car into the thing, and then afterwards carry it back into the car. And so it was a tough beginning, but it didn't feel like work because it was fun.
Ice cream, of course, was brought here by the Americans, and the concept has always been associated with them and the Europeans. What is remarkable about the modest success they have achieved in such a short time is the fact that they have successfully mixed in very Filipino flavors like turon and saba, mangga at suman, tinutong na kanin, melon, and salted egg cheesecake.
It's much easier kasi we're Filipinos, so Mangatsuman was sort of obvious na rin. Turon, ube langka. We know the products very well. So that was more of an easy to get inspiration from. Kasi there's madami ka nang natikman, even in the provinces. And then on the other stuff, usually discovery. So like we discover stuff even through the internet lang. Especially nowadays, everything's on the internet. Google lang ako, unique flavors. But then I think the best inspiration we can get is when we travel and we get to try different cultures, the food in different cultures. And through my travels, I met a lot of people then who always shared like unique desserts that they have. Like if you know, Peruvians are actually very close to Filipinos when it comes to culture and food. And so I get to learn a lot of stuff. And also in Italy, of course, yun talaga, dami. And Japanese are also very good. So you get the ideas and then you bring it back here at home. And then you still try to make something Manila or something fun. Just still trying to make it your own.
Why is it Manila Creamery? Initially, it wasn't really Manila Creamery, the name. So, like what I said, we wanted something Italian. And then we settled for Manila Creamery because we wanted to see that a homegrown Filipino brand can go out the Philippines and set a shop maybe in the Western world. Right? I wanted when people talk about Filipino brands, how Filipinos do create food, we could be top notch. So we're not just all about BPOs, I don't know, but yeah, I mean when it comes to food, we could really battle it out. I think we're very, very intellectual, and so it's a dream. It's a big dream for us.
For now, both Paolo and Jason have their hands full with this one outlet of Manila Creamery. They have the good old flavors that everyone wants in their gelato. They have Kinder Bueno, which is with hazelnuts, Sicilian pistachio with 100% pure pistachio, their strawberry gelato, the popular matcha, cereal milk with cornflakes, vanilla almond with almond brittle, and salted coffee caramel. They have their Asian flavors too, among them salted egg cheesecake, the Asian pop Swazian with black sesame seeds and pop rocks, and the Thai milk gelato. And for their Filipino flavors, they have their turon saba and bibingka, which has caramelized lumpia wrapper, their tinutong na kanin, ube langka, and their Davao chocolate featuring Davao's famous dark chocolate.
We source it locally. We source a lot of things locally, from the nuts to the mangoes, obviously. Langka is obviously ube. So a lot of the things is actually very good in the Philippines. People just need to look, like they need to search more. Because I have a big directory now of everything local here. Our cheese, ricotta, mascarpone, local. So people need to look more, but there's a lot in the Philippines.
The young owners of Manila Creamery are pleased with how the market has accepted them. In fact, as early as next year, they may open a branch somewhere in the south, perhaps in Alabang, but the real test of their mettle is when they can open a branch in San Francisco in the US, according to Paulo. The Manila Creamery looks like the modern gelato cafe that it is. They obviously did not scrimp on the design and their total look, and certainly not on their equipment.
So why are you wondering on why we invest heavily on equipment? Because again, we're selling frozen products. So if our freezers would fail, all our products would be thrown to trash. So it has happened, okay? So other freezers that we've used. So I would just wake up and I would go to the commissary and see that 100 kilos of gelato all melted away. Yeah, so it has happened. And even if they're expensive, I think it's worth it.
At only 25 years, both Paulo and Jason have carved their own niche. We asked them for words of encouragement for young would-be entrepreneurs.
I think the first thing everyone has to do is be realistic. Because I think these days parang it's so cool to be an entrepreneur. And then people forget how much work that goes into being a businessman. And they want all the glory, but they're not willing to put in the work. A lot of people go home and watch Netflix or Game of Thrones and they want to start a business. Parang you need to do sacrifices in order to get where you want to go. So I think that's one of the things. So don't be romantic about businesses. Parang it's a lot of hard work. So don't be it's not a fancy thing like, ooh, I'm a businessman, And then the hardships that we encountered were a lot. I think the best advice I can give there is I can't give you all the problems because it's everything. It's anything and everything that will pop out. It's going to be a problem. So the number one advice I could give you is don't let small problems stop you. When the problem happens, take your emotion out and solve the problem. Because if you become emotional, you're not gonna solve the problem. So you have to be sort of numb. So when something bad happens, you're just like, how do we fix it? I think that's the best advice I can give.
Starting a business isn't as glamorous as what people would think. Okay, so you go home carrying the problems of the business. You wake up facing the same problems. It's not like working in the corporate where you could just go home and then you could just say, okay, I'll just deal with it tomorrow. But here, having your own business, there's a lot at stake. Well, I'm not sure if Jason mentioned about the capital that we invested here. So the capital is like as young as we are, Jason and I, we couldn't really, gather, let's say, how many millions to open up a business. So we're thankful also with the help of our family so that they provided some capital for us. And hopefully we'll be paying them. But my tip of advice is, never stop. Just keep on fighting. Be passionate about it. It may sound cliche, but always be determined. Don't give up. I would always have these moments where I would go home very, very tired and I would question my effort and say that, is my effort, commensurate to the reward that I'm getting? But I don't know what keeps me moving. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, and then having a good team, and just really be passionate about it, I think, eventually you will survive and, you could just make it through the corporate world, out of the corporate world, and then, just have your own business.
So if you're curious about how Filipino flavored gelato is like, or you simply have a craving for frozen desserts, or even just coffee, Manila Creamery style, drop by for a visit.
Hi, if you have heard of Manila Creamery, I hope you could visit our shop here at cinema level of UP Town Center. And then if you haven't heard of Manila Creamery, come by and try Manila Creamery. We have 20 flavors of gelato for you to try. We have Filipino milkshakes for you to taste. And if you could check our Instagram, MNL Creamery, or our Facebook, Manila Creamery. So, see you guys. Thank you.
So we opened our doors last Sunday and we're open at 3rd floor UP Town Center Cinemas in Katipunan, Quezon City. So come by for gelato shakes, and specialty coffee.
It's always so nice to hear of success stories, especially from such young entrepreneurs. Manila Creamery looks like it's going to pack in the young crowd.